Hello and welcome to Lexicom Tech. I am going to go through our setting options in our Lexicom AAC app. These are also applicable to any of our Elements apps as well. So in our free Lexicom AAC app, you will see under our settings button, there are several settings to choose from to make the system work best for the user. The first option is select a sound. So if it is on, when you select a cell, you will hear an auditory beep feedback. If the user doesn't need that, you can go ahead and turn it off. And then the auto load homepage is a security feature. So if it is on, whenever you push the Lexicom button at the top, it will automatically go back to that home page. Now, if you want to get out of this, you need to go into the general iPad settings, scroll down to the Lexicom app, and simply turn that off. And now I can get back into my select page. The iCloud backup is a feature that will be coming soon. The data tracking, if you can turn that on to track any data of the user, and it will have a timestamp and a date stamp. You can turn on the editing tools. So when you're in select a page, you will see these edit options, as well as when you're in the page, you will see an edit option as well. Again, it's a security feature, so you can turn those off if you don't want the user to be able to edit. The social media can be turned on, so when you're in a page and you want to send a message that you've written in your pages, you can send it to Facebook, Twitter, or email. Now, for users who cannot access their AAC system with a finger tap, they can use the iPad as an actual whole button switch, or you can use Bluetooth switches as well. So you can turn on scanning as an access option. Step scanning you can turn on, so you can use two switches. The row column can be turned on, so when it scans the whole row and column, or if it's off, it'll scan each cell. Auditory scanning gives you that auditory feedback for each selection, so they can hear it as it's scanning. And then when you select that cell, you can choose to turn on the AT&T voices for the auditory previews, or you can turn that off. So then you can have two different voices from auditory scanning as well as from the selection. You can also choose how fast you want the scanning. Slow is the turtle and fast is the rabbit, as well as the hold time. If you need a longer hold time because of accidental switches, you can choose that as well. And then if you want a scan sound each time, as well as if you want the header buttons, the undo and clear and speak to be added in the scan, or if you only want direct touch when you're using the scanning option. Now, the highlighted selected cells, when a user makes a selection, they will have a blue cell that will highlight. You can see I left scanning on and selecting a whole column. So that blue highlight is really nice because it gives a feedback of that the cell was selected. So you can choose how thick you want that or how thin. And then you can choose if you want that cell to zoom. This is useful for people with visual impairments. So it can zoom to 3 times or just 1 time. This other zoom option is that zoom that iPad has, where if you use 2 fingers, it will zoom in or zoom out, as well as that bounce. So you can make sure and turn those off if that's distracting to the user. Our dim and hide option is applicable here. The dim cells, you can choose to keep them active, or you can make them inactive, whichever you choose is best for the user, and then how opaque you want that dim cell. We do have text-to-speech. When you select the buffer at the top in the page, it will pull up the keyboard. So I just select this buffer at the top, and it pulls up the keyboard. You can turn that text-to-speech option on or off. You can choose whether you want it to speak each word or just when you hit the space bar at the end of your sentence. You can choose whether you want a male or female voice for that text-to-speech, and these options also affect when you are doing any editing in the app. It will use whatever voice you choose for the text-to-speech. Then you can adjust the setting sounds of that voice with how fast or slow it speaks and the prosody as well. Now, the word prediction also has to do with text-to-speech. You can enable word prediction so the words pop up, and then you can custom those word predictions so it will track how frequently you type in certain words, and those words will pop up first in the tracking of the frequency. And these are our different versions and all the helpers that have helped us out with some of our different settings. And if you have any other questions with our settings, you can always contact us at support@alexicontech.com.